It is 4:20 on 4:20. I'm Mark Stewart. This is the Daily Fire for April 20th. And yes, this is about the war that states wage against marijuana. It's ridiculous, okay? The sky has not fallen in Colorado 5 years after they legalized marijuana for recreational use, okay? There's no discernible increase in violent crime, no discernible increase in traffic accidents. Why? Because even if you're driving stoned, you're a lot safer because you go slowly. Even if you are stoned in the presence of somebody that you hate, it's not something that impels people to violence. Certainly not like alcohol does. If anything, it is a mild sedative. Where did this prohibition against marijuana come from? Prohibition is a little inexact. It's a Schedule I narcotic. They're at the highest level of penalty because of, in the 1970s, Richard Nixon, in a race-tainted decision, he didn't like that blacks and Latinos were users of that drug, and he did like cultivating the white vote that at the time included a lot of racists who would do things, or like politicians that would do things to keep blacks and Latinos down. How is this so manifest? The other Schedule I drug that Nixon put on the agenda, peyote, okay? Ingested by a lot of Mexican Americans, Indian, Native Americans, and it's harmless. It's even more benign than marijuana. Those two evidence a ridiculous reason for fighting a war that confiscates people's stuff. That's what police forces have been allowed to do on suspicion of somebody dealing drugs or possessing drugs. They've closed down properties, motel owners who, it's not them, but their tenants are busted down for a drug crime, and the motel owner can't operate. This is a misguided war. It shouldn't be a war in the first place, but even if the authorities think so, these are tactics that befit Stalinists and Nazis. They do not befit American justice. I believe the drug war should be ended. People should be free to ingest what they want, at least adults, sell to whom they want, willing buyers, and let law enforcement actually fight real crime. Real crime is theft. Real crime includes cyber crime. I'd love to have the extra detectives that right now go around looking for people to bust for marijuana or peyote on the task of busting down people who are stealing from you, your identity, your credit card. Fighting a war for something that people should have the right to do is ridiculous. Police forces can only be in so many places at once. To squander their good training on busting down a harmless activity is a colossal waste. Even if it were harmful, this is about liberty. You're only harming yourself. Stewart for Liberty, yes, liberty, believes in the freedom of adults to even harm themselves if they're not harming others. We can't police everybody. We shouldn't even try, but we should put ourselves foursquare against people who harm others. I'm a small investor in a marijuana company. Legal. Gary Johnson, presidential candidate in 2016, was a big investor in a marijuana company. But here's why he fell short. He still bought into or said he did that, oh, we're doing this for medical marijuana, when across the board it's a joke. Every state that's allowed medical marijuana, it is clear it's being redistributed with no penalty attached to recreational users. Stop the fiction. The fiction, since everyone knows what's really going on, makes our government look stupid. Okay? I want a state where there's integrity to any law being passed. Gary was disappointed on a couple other fronts too. I'm a liberty-minded person, but I could not vote for that libertarian by the end of the campaign. I hope you'll consider this libertarian. Not big L, small L liberty that applies to every party. And the party that we have is called the Americans for Minimal Government. And if you see me or one of my campaign crew in a parking lot or a mall, we're trying to make sure that liberty lives with a strong candidate in November. Add to the petition. We need 7,500 names. We'll get there. It'd be nice to get there sooner rather than later, and then you'll see the Americans for Minimal Government Party, AMIGO for short, on the ballot, ready to do battle. Thanks for listening.